All right, Amy, let's kick it off. So before we get started, we always do a little bit of housekeeping here, and I just want to make sure that everyone's aware that we will be emailing a follow-up survey, and we ask that you take a few minutes to share your thoughts about this presentation. As always, you're in mute mode. We encourage you to use the questions button to chat with us, to ask questions. And the handouts are in are loaded for you to download that as well. So using GoToWebinar, just some more reminders about where to find things. If you are, as I said, the webinar handouts are in the handout section. I think I should see it in there, but I'm not. I think Amy, I think they're there. If they're not, let me know, and I can. Since this is a small number of people, I can email them. But I believe I put them in there. So
you did, Sheila.
Okay, thanks. Next slide, please. Just a reminder that if your screen happens to disappear, like, and you can't see the presentation, that the snowflake icon, it's on your toolbar. It looks like this. You would just click on that and it will pop your presentation back up to the front. And now we're to the introductions. So it's great to meet everybody. I'm glad you're joining us today. I'm a transplant from Northeast Ohio. I relocated to Columbus in December 2020, and I started working for SWACO in July of last year. In the past, I've been a commercial sales representative for the waste and recycling industry. I help businesses implement recycling, and I have spent many years in the private sector in manufacturing, technology, and print industries. So I'm really excited to be a part of the Innovations and Programs team here at SWACO and to work specifically with Franklin County businesses to help them implement recycling and to improve their existing recycling efforts. I work with businesses of all sizes, and I'm glad you're attending the webinar today. This is my contact information. It's the easiest way to reach me is by email. So let's talk a little bit about SWACO real quick. This is if you're not familiar with SWACO, it stands for the Solid Waste Authority of Central Ohio. We came into being in 1989 when the law was passed to create solid waste districts in Ohio, which there are 52 of them. Franklin County is its own standalone jurisdiction, and we are the only one in the state that owns and operates a landfill. We work to divert materials from the landfill to extend the life of the landfill, and we're specifically focusing on the business sector because we want to achieve the goal of 75% diversion by 2032. So this is the third webinar in our Recycle Right at Work series. Today we're going to look closely at the 7-step process that SWACO created to help businesses implement sustainable recycling programs. Step 1, develop a recycling plan. So a recycling plan helps to organize the information necessary for a successful program. The plan can also identify responsibilities for implementing the program, your goals, what the company would like to achieve, and it also serves as an important reference document when things do change. Some organizations have a green team to help them tackle this in writing this plan and implementing the program. So in case you weren't aware, we did cover organizing a green team at our December 2021 webinar, and if you want to watch that video, it is on our website. So this is just a little image of what the template tool looks like. It's 100% fillable document, so it allows you to customize it. It's designed so that you can update it and change it as your information changes. So if the facility manager were to change, or your housekeeping person, or maybe the lead of your green team, as it shows here on this image, you can update all that and how to reach them. You can also adjust, maybe your organization is only focusing on paper and cardboard and you're not collecting glass. You can identify what materials you are accepting. The second step in the process is to understand your waste. So to best manage your waste stream, we recommend that you conduct some type of waste audit. You need to familiarize yourself with the waste that your business generates. And a waste audit is basically an analysis of the types and quantities of waste that you generate and where that material is generated. So, for example, how much of each material or type is generated, and of that, how much is recycled and where is it being generated? Is it a lot of it coming from your break room or a garage or warehouse area? So we have this visual audit tool and a comprehensive audit tool. These are both downloadable files at the SWACO.org site in the Understand Your Waste category. These tools were designed for helping businesses to take this step of auditing and provide this important data that they need to determine how best to implement recycling. So this again is just another image of what the visual audit tool looks like. It's a spreadsheet with several tabs on it. There's instructions, an example, and then how to go about each area that you're going to capture the data from, and as it shows here, container size, how full it is, how often it's serviced. I know companies that have done this audit have learned that maybe they have a container that's really not in use and that housekeeping has to go to it, or the custodial staff is going to it to try to empty it, but it's always not full. So they can probably just eliminate that as a spot. Or they've also learned that it's always being emptied, it's always overflowing, it's a landfill bin, but it should be a recycling as well, because a lot of the materials that are in there are things that could be recycled. The third step is to work with your hauler. So there is a lot of information on the website about how to work with your hauler. This is just a small we have things that you can ask your hauler, questions like what materials do they accept? What are the charges for collection of recyclables? Are there any requirements, and how are the recyclables must be prepared prior to collection? I mean, are they willing to help in conducting a waste audit or educating your staff on the recycling program? Because many haulers do have educational staff and they are willing to help you with audits. Step 4, it's all about recycling container placement and signage. So we believe that you need to twin the bin. That means you place a recycling container with every waste receptacle. Placing the containers together assures you that it is always easy to recycle, and it's as easy as recycling as it is to throw it away in the landfill. Employees should always have easy access to both. You want to make sure that your containers are visible and in accessible areas. So, placing containers behind doors or under counters, or obscuring signage would inhibit the usage of containers, and that would lead to contamination. So make sure you pay attention to where you're locating your containers. We want you to use consistent signage and color coding of your containers. So while containers may be different sizes or styles depending on their location, using a consistent sign, it's important to reinforce that what materials are accepted in your program. All recycling containers should be the same color. Blue is the recommended color for recycling. And all trash or landfill containers should be a different, consistent color, commonly black. This helps to create this consistent way to identify a container and what's acceptable to place items in them. Of course, different container openings can help signal what goes into your containers. So the type of opening in a recycling container can also help your employees identify that it is a recycling container. For example, recycling containers have small round openings when compared to a larger opening for a trash container. Another common opening is what's called the Saturn shape. It's basically a round space, and then it looks like the Saturn planet with rings. So it's just designed to accept paper, plastic, bottles, and cans. Step 5, we want to educate employees. So initial education plus continuous education will equal learning to recycle right. While most employees probably have a sense that recycling is a good thing to do, your employees will not know what materials can and cannot be recycled at work unless they are educated on the issue. Additionally, most won't understand the wide range of environmental and economic benefits of recycling. So we encourage you to develop an understanding of the impacts of your recycling program and help cultivate a workplace of culture that values recycling. And you take time to educate your employees, it's an important step. This will ensure the long-term success of your program. SWACO even provides a sample launch document to help the planning and announcing of your recycling program at a kickoff meeting. Step 6 in the process is to ensure a sustainable program. So one of the most common causes of an underperforming recycling program is the fact that nobody paused to ask a simple question: how are we doing? By doing each of the 7 things that are listed here, you will uncover your challenges and opportunities for improvement. You'll also learn who your influencers and cheerleaders are that are supporting your program, and you can reward this positive behavior either in April for Earth Day on April 22nd or in November for America Recycles Day, which is November 15th. And the last step in the SWACO process is to tell your story. So communicating your waste reduction and recycling performance can have a positive impact on how people view your business. A 2020 study of consumers by IBM and the National Retail Federation indicated that awareness of global environmental issues is changing the habits of consumers wherever they. The study indicates that these attitudes are driving brand choices. 77% of consumers indicate that it is moderately or very important that brands are sustainable and or environmentally responsible. And 76% indicate that they are seeking brands that support recycling, identifying it as a moderately or very important brand attribute. SWACO's Caught Blue-Handed Awareness campaign takes place each November, and businesses can submit for recognition, and we will help tell your story and attract these consumers. As always, we have tons of additional resources available. Our recycleright.org website is a great tool to check if you're not sure if something's recyclable or other options for where to take things. You know, businesses sometimes generate a single pallet or multiple pallets that come every week. There's information there on where you could connect with pallet companies that might charge for the pickup of a pallet, but at least you could keep it out of the landfill. SaveMoreThanFood.org is a site that was created a little more than a year ago to help us with the food waste initiatives. Lots of really good information there. If you're generating a lot of food waste at work, it would apply as well. And then, of course, there's the business resources that are found on SWACO.org. You can always request for technical assistance by emailing biz@swaco.org. You will definitely get me as your technical assistant. I'm happy to help businesses of all sizes. And of course, I want to remind people that we do have educational videos about recycling on our SWACO YouTube channel. There's tons of good information there, including our 2020 video that Amy created about the landfill. It's an 11-minute tour. It might be something that you could incorporate into a kickoff meeting that would educate your staff about where materials are going and the difference you're going to make by launching a recycling program. I'm going to take a second to pause for questions, and I don't think there are any, but we'll just double check.
Yeah, I don't see any questions at this time, Sheila. So now is the time, folks, to drop in any comments or thoughts that you might have that you would like Sheila to expand upon. And
Okay.
that's okay if you don't have any too.
Yeah. If you want to go to the next slide, it has my contact information on there. Again, I put it at the end as well, because we want to stay connected. If you weren't familiar with the social media channels we're on, we have those posted as well. And I want to also let you know that the next available webinar in the Webinar to Resources series is the April 13th noon presentation of Recycle Right at Home. I invite you to join that, as well as the April 27th Sustainable Guide to Spring Cleaning. Those two are the next in April. Our next Recycle Right at Work webinar is going to be in June on the 1st at noon. and it will be all about how to apply to be a business recycling champion. It's a new program that SWACO has rolled out for financial incentives to help businesses with starting recycling programs. And as usual, all webinars are open to the public. They're free. There's just a wealth of information that you learn from the webinar. And I just want to plug this April 13th one again. We are at over 200 attendees for this webinar, and our goal is to break our record. So if you weren't familiar with the Recycle Right at Home series, we invite you to go to the SWACO.org website, to the webinars page. You can sign up there or share that information with coworkers and family to join and learn about recycling in Franklin County. Since there aren't any other questions, this will be a quick webinar. We're at about 20 minutes in, so.
Sheila, we did just get a question.
Okay.
So Dan asked, are the developing and recycling plan templates downloadable somewhere on your website into an editable form? I have found the template on your website, but it appears to be an HTML page rather than a downloadable file.
No, there are downloadable templates when you navigate to the website and you're at SWACO.org and you go to business resources and you are on the developer recycling plan page and you scroll to the bottom. That's where the template is. You can download. The same thing for understanding your waste. It would be on under that section. And thank you, Amy, for pulling that up. We will be able to physically show you where this is at.
Yeah, you'll have to point me in the direction, Sheila. So,
that's fine.
I'll pull it up here for folks to see.
Yep. Go to the when you're on the diversions on the far left, business recycling resources. Yep, right there. And then back up for a second to the top where you have the business recycling resources. There's a window pop out there. Go to develop a recycling plan. And at the very bottom here, as you scroll down, this is where the template's found. It's the click to download your recycling plan template. And that should match the image of what I had shared in the profile.
Do I click the right one? This one, download file?
That's it right there.
Okay.
Yeah, and then if you want to, yeah, look, there's 6 or 7 pages there, I believe, on things that you're going to fill out to help you walk through the process of setting up a program. You can even, we help you with your goal setting. We help you with how to write those goals and then how to focus on what you want to do. Maybe your company is only recycling cardboard and you want to do more. So we help you figure out how to do that with writing that information in this recycling focus section that you have up there. Now, can you go back over to the developer recycling plan? Yeah, let's go down, click understand your waste at the bottom. That takes you to the next section, which if you scroll down there, you'll see that we have our visual audit tools. This is the first one there. Yep, this is the basic visual audit tool. And we also offer, it's a spreadsheet with there's the introduction page. There's an example form. So this is where you would go in and we provide examples on how to do it. And then the form blank is where you would actually capture your data when you do the walkthrough.
Perfect, Sheila. I hope that answers your question, Dan. Let us know. Shoot Sheila an email if you can provide any further clarification.
Yep, happy to help you there. If you scroll down a little further on that page right now, it says comprehensive waste audits. No, go back one more. Yeah, that says keep scrolling down. There's even a second audit tool. This is a business assessment audit tool. It's way more complex, but you might be a bigger company and you might need more complexity to better understand what you're generating. So we've provided I would call it the easy tool and a little bit harder tool because it just depends on the size of your business, what one would fit for you. So both of these are good downloadable tools for conducting an audit. And I think the visual audit tool, the first one we were showing, is a lot easier to use than this one, but it is available because I did have larger industry, larger manufacturing people that were interested in collecting more information, and maybe they have directives that say, they have to be 0 waste or 95% diversion from the landfill, they have like really high expectations. So this helps them figure out what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. It's a wonderful free tool that we have here that we're trying to get the word out to help people understand that they don't have to reinvent the wheel. We have everything you need to start a recycling program.
That's great, Sheila. Thanks for walking us through those various steps.
All right. Well, if we don't have any more questions, I think we're going to close our webinar early today.
Thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon. We hope you have a great rest of your day. And again, reach out to Sheila if you have any follow-up questions. Take care.